When Napoleon had finished his second round, he made a bow to the head to dismiss the members of the Corps Diplomatique, who, without leaving the Tuileries, found in the apartment of the Grand Marshal a dinner presided over by that great officer, and served by the livery servants of the Emperor. This repast was magnificent, in a different way from that of the Emperor himself, and at least the gourmands, who were, when they were admitted to the table of the first consul, complained that it began too late and left off too early, were able to take their ease. The table was laid for 25 persons, and the menu comprised 4 soups, 2 dishes of beef, 4 removes, 24 entrees, 8 roasts, 20 entremets, 4 great pieces, 12 hors d'oeuvres, and 4 salads. For dessert, 4 cheeses, 12 bonbons, 12 dishes of small pastry, 12 compotes, and 12 fruits. After the coffee, 24 ices. As to the Emperor, he had his regular Sunday dinner, which is a family dinner around the table placed as usual in one of the salons, and served on this day on silver gilt are placed 3 armchairs for himself, for the Empress, and for Madame Mère, and chairs to the necessary number of the princes and princesses, all without exception take at the Emperor's table their family rank, that is to say, the order of age. Under no circumstances has this rule been set aside, and it may be seen from what follows what historical value is to be given to those very ingenious and theatrical legends on the quarrels which broke out between the princesses on the subject of their rank. On all occasions, the princesses take their places after the empress, to the left of the emperor, and in the following order: first Julie, wife of Hortense, wife of Joseph; then Hortense, wife of Louis, and Catherine, wife of Jerome; next, the first of the sisters, Eliza; then Pauline; and last, Caroline, even when she is Grand Duchess of Bergen, even when she is Queen of Naples. At the emperor's right, Madame Mère; then Joseph, Louis, Jerome, the Prince of Piombino, Bacchiocchi, Borghese, and lastly, Murat. Murat complains, but if his complaints are handed over to the register of the Grand Master of the ceremonies, it is because the decisions of the emperor, decisions from which there is no appeal, are reported to him in terms which cannot be forgotten. After the last of the sisters of the emperor sit the Princess Auguste and the Princess Stephanie. After the last of the brothers-in-law, Jean, the rule is unchangeable, and Napoleon only set it aside during a very short time in favor of Stephanie de Beauharnais alone at the time when he was pleased to adopt her. Auguste never had any private honors, no doubt because he did not come to Paris till after the divorce. The family dinner is, in the usual way, announced by the prefect of the palace. The emperor and empress are served by pages of princes and princesses by the maitre d'hotel and the valets de chambre. The only difference between this dinner and that of every day is that of the nefs of their majesties were set on a dessert table opposite to their places, but simply as a matter of etiquette. The emperor considered for some time the reestablishment of the grand couvert of the Bourbons, that is to say, the dining in public every Sunday. He decided that there was something idolatrous and futile, of vulgar curiosity and servility about it, that you might go and see the sovereign at church or at the theater, but to go and see him eat was ridiculous. The circumstances of the time, said he, had seen Helena, ought to have limited the ceremony to the Prince Imperial, and only during the time of his youth, for he was the child of the whole nation. From that time he would be the object of universal solicitude. The menu, a little more abundant than on weekdays, was composed of 2 soups, bouillie, 1 remove, 6 entrees, 2 roasts, 4 entremets, 2 great pieces, 4 hors d'oeuvres, 2 salads. At dessert, 2 cheeses, 4 plates of bonbons, 4 of small pastry, 4 compotes, and 4 fruits. When the Bourbons returned, they changed this. At a family dinner, January 6, 1820, was served 2 soups, 4 relevés, 16 entrees, 4 roasts, 16 entremets, and 4 great pieces. It is true that the dinner of the king lasted some hours more than that of the emperor, although for the family he consented to remain at table a little longer than on the days when he dined with the empress. Then he dined in 10 or 12 minutes. On Sunday he allowed a quarter of an hour, sometimes even 20 minutes. And if he rose sooner, the empress gave a sign to the guests, and they remained. But yet, the best plan was to do as Sushen when he found himself in Paris and had dined before. After dinner from 1804 to 1810, the emperor habitually remained in one of the salons to chat with his mother, his sisters, and the empress. It was, in fact, altogether exceptional for any stranger, though he were a prince, to be admitted to interfere with this intimacy. Stephanie and Eugene, having been adopted, were of the family. The Prince of Baden was connected, and the Grand Duke of Würzburg later was the uncle of Marie-Louise. It appears that the Prince of Bavaria, at a later time, the kings of Saxony, Bavaria, and Württemberg may have been invited, but still with these three sovereigns, the emperor had family ties. It was a favor without precedent when Bernadotte and his wife Desiree Clary were admitted into it on September 25th, 1810. It was the eve of departure of Bernadotte for Sweden, and it was involved a long conference between the Grand Master of the Ceremonies, the Grand Marshal, and the Grand Chamberlain to draw upon etiquette for such an unprecedented occasion. Although looked on as the Marshal of the Empire and styled Prince of Pontecorvo, Bernadotte came in Swedish costume. It was not till after dinner in the apartment of the Empress that he was presented as the Prince Royal of Sweden, in the first place to Marie-Louise and then to the Emperor. For the Princess of Pontecorvo, the forms had been shortened and she had been presented after the parade. From this example, one may judge of the upset which such a favor produced in the ordinary habits, for no less than 2 orders of the emperor and at least 2 plans of the ceremony drawn up with infinite detail were necessary to render the reception possible. After the second marriage, the intercourse at the conclusion of the family dinner was all over. Regularly every Sunday there was an assembly and a theatrical performance in the apartments of the new empress, a suppression of parades, a profusion of assemblies, etiquette made still more stringent, and the emperor still more placed outside the common rank of existence, are the characteristics of the new regime. Some have thought that to this might be traced the causes of the fall of the empire. That is possible.